when I watch the Vikings, which your brother has put together, they remind me of Seattle about 5 years ago, where I don't watch film, Chris, you do, but I can see speed. I can see a pass rush without blitzing. Minnesota, you've seen them live. You've been in a game. They feel like this is about to pop for about 4 years. Does it look and feel like that to you?
Well, you made the point just earlier, Colin, that their offensive tackles, you got two of them on IR. And so you're playing guys right now. And if they can't hold up, no, it's not going to work. If they played like they did yesterday, giving up 6 sacks against Philly, and you can't protect Bradford, who does have a history of injuries, they're going to be in trouble. But if they can get their protection down and those guys can continue to get better and improve, then they have a chance because, excuse me, they play great defense. Bradford's playing well. Now, what he did yesterday, what he hasn't done in their 5-game winning streak, was he turned the ball over, and that's what he cannot do.
You have had several Detroit Lion games, and Matt Stafford's contract's coming up here in a pretty short stint. They're better offensively without Calvin Johnson. How is that possible?
Well, other guys have stepped up. I thought Marvin Jones Jr., who came over from Cincinnati via free agency, has played pretty decent. Golden Tate got his head on straight. Now he's playing well. Then you bring in Anquan Bolden, who's 14 years, dude. He's just a pro, and all he does is make plays. But, we talk about Matthew Stafford. To me, Colin, nobody's playing better that position than Matthew Stafford. And that doesn't take away how great Tom Brady is or how great Matt Ryan or Aaron Rodgers. All those guys are great players, Andrew Luck. But what Matthew's doing it with, they lost Amir Abdullah, right? They're starting running back, a game changer. Theo Riddick, the best third down back in the game. Then he's playing with 2 offensive linemen that are rookies with Taylor Decker and Graham Glasgow. Taylor from Ohio State and Graham from Michigan. And he's getting it done. And here's the defining thing for me as quarterbacks. What's their performance like in the fourth quarter when the game's on the line? In the last 3 weeks, he's been money.
Yeah. The Cowboys didn't play this weekend, but they've got a great deal of momentum with Dak Prescott. Now, I don't like throwing veterans away. I say this all the time. There's a Drew Brees. If you look at who's winning in the NFL right now, it's Tom Brady and Big Ben and Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers and these old guys that we want to cast off, and we all fall in love with Carson Wentz. But you look at Dak, and Chris, it feels different, and they've got that offensive line. Do you think there is a struggle inside the Cowboys locker room right now among players on what to do with that situation?
Absolutely not. I'm putting myself in that locker room, and I've done this and thought about this and how I would respond. You ride the hot horse, man. The guy's winning football games for you. He's playing well. He brings a running element to this offense.
Yeah.
And why change? There's nothing promised in this league. One man's loss, another man's opportunity. That's the rule. That's the way it's been and always has been.
So you don't think, Chris, what happens if there were guys like you in that locker room, veteran players who were close friends with Tony Romo? How does that land for players?
Look, I don't think any player is under the illusion that, their job is at risk every day. In Colin, this might be strange in some people's eyes, but here's how I approached it. I read a note that I wrote to myself when I was drafted by the Detroit Lions that night, and I said, do something every day in practice not to get cut. And so I went out and tried to perform. And the players see players that are performing and producing. They don't follow guys who have had great careers. They follow guys that are hot. And right now, Dak Prescott is hot, and he's producing on a regular basis. They believe in him, and you got to ride it. It'd be crazy not to.
Okay, let's segue now to Carson Wentz, who feels like a northern version of Brett Favre. He likes to hunt. He likes to fish. He comes from a school we've never heard of, which almost doesn't happen anymore for quarterbacks. They come from big schools, right? The Carson Wentz momentum. Now, yesterday he picks up a win. He had struggled in previous weeks. When you watch Carson, what do you see, Chris?
Well, he's accurate with the football, and he makes great decisions. Even the game against Philly, when he threw that interception to end the game where Darius Slay picked it, I thought his receiver didn't do a very good job of going up and fighting for that football. But his decision-making, I think, is beyond his years. And the other thing, he's an athlete. He can do some things with his feet, but his decision-making is beyond his years, in my opinion.